what we're going to do on this tutorial is just deal with this. All the ends on the back. So what I tend to do is, you know, leave all the ends till the end, till I finish the block. And then what I do is where I get two ends that meet, for example here, I will knot them, as I do with my big sock yarn blanket. So whenever you get two ends that meet, just knot them together. And there's another one there. So I just go round knotting them all first of all. Okay. And then we'll go to this square here. We'll deal with these two ends. So where you've got them and you've knotted them, you'll have one colour that belongs with that square and one colour that belongs with that square. You'll be able to see which yarn that is. And where you have an end that doesn't have another one next to it, it's exactly the same principle for weaving in. There's no difference at all. So we'll do this one first. So you just thread your end onto a tapestry needle. I don't like the ones with the bent ends. I've never been able to understand them, but obviously, you know, you use whichever tapestry needle suits you. And then what I do is, can you see the ridge that you've got here down the side? I first of all, I go from right at the very top and I run my needle through these stitches, just to get to so that we get to a point on here where we've got a little nice run of garter that we can weave into, and it also just helps secure it that little bit more. So just run it through, pull that through, and then I always kind of, give it a little tug like that, because when you first pull it through you can see it can cause like a gather, but if you just give it a little pull, that will even out your yarn. And then what we do, we need to find, if you look at your garter stitch on the back, you'll be able to see we've got like little frowny faces and smiles, I call them. So frowns and smiles, frowns and smiles. And you want to find a smile. You want to go as close, you know, my end is here, and you want to find a smile that's as close to the end of your yarn as possible. I tend to go into one that's literally right on the very edge there, can you see? And go in there. And then what we do is we follow it around. So your yarn is coming out of here, so we follow this around and we go over there, so we're going through a smile and then down through a frown. So it's like at a little angle. And then again, follow it around, through a frown and then up through a smile. Same again, follow it around, down through a smile and a frown. And then I do that maybe 3 or 4 times. So and after you've done it a couple of times, it'll just be second nature, you know, you'll just do it without thinking. Okay, and then just trim the end close. There you go. And you can see, you can really barely see it at all. I don't think it's, you know, you really can't see it, it's quite invisible. And then for the other one, this square here, it's just slightly different. Because we're at the bottom of the square here, what I do is I work my needle underneath the ridge and then up through a couple of smiles on the edge here to get to like the second row of garter and pull that through. And again, I just give it a little pull just to make sure it's nice and even. And we do exactly the same thing. Follow it around, we're going through a smile and a frown. Same again, round, up and through, round, smile, frown, frown, smile. And I do that again, you know, 5, 6 times, something like that. And that's that done. And then snip that. So you just work your way around your blocks doing that. Now, I mean, for this one, for example, what I would tend to do is I would turn my block so that we've then got this nice row of garter to work on. And again, just pop that on and find your nearest. What you might have to do is just work it through a couple of stitches to find your nearest sort of smile, which is there. And then just exactly the same as before. I think it's super quick. I really don't have an issue weaving ends in at all. I've said this before, I think, and maybe everybody thinks I'm a bit weird, but I just think you're at the end of, you're at the end, in this case, the end of the block, and it's all, it's all finished, and you just want to get it all done and neat and tidy. And I think it's really nice, really satisfying. There we go. So we just do that, working our way and, do all your ends. Where you've got a cream end, for the end of your actual border, this one here, all I do, it's the same thing again. I'll just show you, get all the other ends out of the way. What I tend to do here is just go kind of back up through one of the first stitches on that row and then find the nearest smile on that second row. Just give it a little pull, and then just exactly the same. That one, actually I'm going to go up one more because that was a bit close to the edge. And then the same again. Just work your way along. I've never timed myself to, for each block, but I can't think it would take longer than 10-15 minutes at the most to weave in your ends, which really is not long at all, is it? Don't leave them all till you've knit all your blocks. Weave in your ends after you've finished every block, and then it won't seem such a mammoth task. There we go.